Yo, 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 yo. Okay, NickiOh, whoa, whoa. So, originally, this video was going to solely be about Kwame Brown and Hassan Campbell. But when I began to do research on Kwame Brown, I saw a lot of people dated back 15 years plus spewing derogatory things about him, and that made me want to dive off into him more. It also allowed me to see why he was so head on with Hassan Campbell. Now, side note, I know some of Hassan many subscribers will feel like I'm calling the kettle black, but the difference between Hassan Campbell and Kwame Brown, in my opinion, is that Hassan causes his own self chaos and demise. Anything derogatory that anyone is saying about Hassan Campbell can be backed up by no one other than Hassan Campbell. Kwame Brown, to me, comes across as he minding his own business, as a person who minds his own business. He speak when he's spoken to, but yet people find reasons and ways of speaking derogatory things about him. And it's nothing recent. It's everything of times of way back when. Now, to be honest, before his confrontation happened with Hassan Campbell, I only knew a very few surface things about Kwame Brown. It is safe to say that I did catch a few of his lives, which I loved. I knew he was an ex NBA player, and I also knew that he was labeled as a so called bust, and we'll speak on that in a moment. I knew that he started a YouTube channel to finally defend his name after being spoke on in a very derogatory manner for a number of years while he sat dormant and allowed God to do his work on him. I also knew that he spoke of adding trades and codings back into our schools to help our children, amongst other things. So to me, he came across as an upstanding individual. Later on, I did catch snippets of his interview with Tasha K on Unwind with Tasha K, and it wasn't until I began to research now when I went back and saw that video in its entirety. Now, please keep in mind that whatever I say is my opinion, and once again, this is not a way of me trying to tarnish anyone's character. Okay, so Kwame Brown, as many of you may already know, he was elected by the Washington Wizards in the 2001 NBA draft. He was the first number one overall draft pick to be chosen straight out of high school. I want to sit that in neutral for a second. He was the first number one overall draft pick to be chosen straight out of high school. That happened. It happened. He played 12 seasons. If you have someone close to you, or you have ever, you didn't have to be the first. Just went to the NBA, period. Put it in the comments. I would love to hear the story. But for now, I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about a boy named Kwame Brown, from my point of view of what I know. I don't know the man personally. This is just me talking, okay? I'm just NickiOh. What do I know, right? He has 7 other siblings, right? He's one of 8. Single mother, God rest her soul. From what I know, father went to prison, someone who he barely knew and wasn't told too much about why he wasn't around. So at a young age, he was taught to suppress his emotions. Can you see it? At the age of 14, when most of our minds are on the latest gear or video games, Kwame was possibly sharpening his basketball skills and simultaneously calculating how much his mother would need help with that disconnect notice on the table. Right? Can you see it? He had the same free lunch as some of us. I know I did. That rectangle ass pizza and that soggy chicken, which was busting some days when you went to school and was able to put your pride to the side and go down to the cafeteria when your tummy was going rumble in the jungle, right? Sometimes the burgers was so damn dry, not hamburger, just burger, toppings where you don't get toppings. It's just burger and bread. If you get down there and get in line early enough, you will get a cheeseburger. Still burger, cheese, bread. Okay? We're lucky we're alive. Back on Kwame Brown, right? I'm sure shoes too little. I'm sure being a tall boy, big old feet. Okay. I know I surely can relate to the big old feet. I wear size 11. I feel like ever since the age of 3, I've been wearing 11. Okay. Goodwill clothes. Where I'm from, we used to have to go to the Veterans Village. My mama used to shop. It was 5 of us. I can relate. Thank God for inventing flood jeans, because I always been a tall girl. I'm going to tell you a little side story, then I'm going to hop back on Kwame Brown. I'm in the 9th grade. Got a crush on a boy, you know. Name Eric. I'm going to say your name. I'm a tall girl. My mama bought me some penny loafers. I thought I was the shit. That day I put a dime in them. You know, I'm the shit. I put a dime in them motherfuckers. Who you talking to? I had on some flood jeans. Back then, flooding wasn't cool, but my mama could never find me no jeans that was long enough for me, so I just had to make it do what it do. I had to camouflage with my socks and shit. Make it seem like I'm not flooding, like the jeans are never ending, but they stop. I'm just trying to find socks the same color, you know, trying to make this shit work. I'm walking down the hallway. Classes are changing. Hallways are packed. I'm walking with my best friend. I'm thinking I'm looking cute that day. Remember, I got on flood jeans. I got on some Azai socks and shit. You know the vibe. Penny loafers. No penny. Dimes. We sporting dimes. All of a sudden, my crush, Eric, yells down the hallway. Hallway packed. Tranika. That's my name. I hear my friend like, yeah. Eric looking at me. It must be the penny loafers. The nigga must have noticed the dime. I turned around like, what's up? Right? He yelled, pull your shoes up. Or oh my God, it still hurts a little. Or pull your pants down. One of the two, bitch. Oh my God, he poked my heart. He poked my heart. The rupture in the hallway sounded like an earthquake. Everybody fell knee smacking, okay? I was crushed. That happened. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let me get back on. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Oh, shit. Fuck you, Eric. Okay, let me get back. Homeless shelter, right? I can't relate. But oh my God, you know that's heavy life shit, right? Can you see it? He is someone who has been through the same struggle with some of us. He had the same chances, same choices, right? Now, don't get me wrong, some people have certain circumstances that are different from others, but unless someone or some force took your free will to make a conscious choice when you had a chance, then you had the same starting gate as Kwame did. So I don't want to hear that, all right? That includes me. He worked hard and he was chosen in my mind in more ways than one, right? Despite him being labeled as a so-called bust, they held that man 12 years captive, 12 years a slave, okay? How bad could it have been? What you keep him for? Right? To go from the young 14-year-old boy that was wondering how he was going to help his mother and to flip that and be able to buy his mama a house, there's no way I could pay you back. But my plan was to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it, right? It's a beautiful thing. You can't take that from that man. He did that. By show of hands, how many people bought your mama your house? I haven't. I'm working on my credit right now to get me a house. I haven't. Now, since 2013, this man has been moving forward throughout his journey onto the levels that God has paid for him. And there has been such crab-ass individuals trying to pull him down. Can you see it? Now picture it, Sicily, right? It is now 2021, and you are walking around minding your own business. You know, the business that minds you. And every time you look up, folks talking about 2007, 2009, 2002. People are refusing to move on with their own lives, but instead they want to keep up bringing up ridiculous stories about the times of way back when, right? That's why Kwame Brown, in my eyes, is a strong individual who will not be easily broken, and the world needs more men or individuals such as himself. Can you see it? Now let's speak on this biggest bus bullshit right for a second. I began to do some research on it, and when I took some time to look this up, I found out that there were others before him that had far worse stats than he did. Now, before I get started, I want to send my condolences because two of these individuals died years ago. So RIP to those gentlemen. Now, per an article on the website fadeawayworld.net, it stated that there were four other individuals that had far worse stats than Kwame Brown did, so just follow me for a second. First up, we're going to talk about is Mark Workman. Mark Workman was drafted by the Milwaukee Hawks in the NBA draft in 1952. He was a first overall draft pick. Now, per this article, his career was short-lived, like only after 1 year. Workman only played 5 games with Milwaukee Hawks before he was traded to the Philadelphia Warriors. And then not long after that, his NBA career ended. But they kept Kwame 12 years, right? Mark Workman is noted to be the worst number 1 pick of all time in terms of per on-court production and impact. Okay? Let's move on. Next on the list, it was Andy, and I know I'm going to butcher this last name, Tokovich, all right? Andy Tokovich. Now, he was drafted in 1948. He was also noted to be a bust and described to be a mistake to be taking over Dolph Skayes. Then there was Anthony Bennett. Anthony Bennett was noted to be the 3rd worst number 1 pick in the NBA history. He was also known to be a bench warmer throughout his career. And then lastly, there is LaRue Martin. Now, LaRue, he was known to be the Trailblazers' biggest blunder. When he was drafted in 1972 over Julius Erving and Bob McAdoo. Martin was noticed to have poor career numbers, and he was discussed to be one of the worst overall draft picks in the NBA history. Now, all these men are before Kwame, right? So once I saw this prompted me to go to Wikipedia, right? I started my search with Kwame. And as I thought, right up there at the top, smack dab in the middle of that biggest bust bullshit. You read down a little further, they even had issues between him and the mother of his children all the way down till he got pulled over with some damn gummy bears, right? Let's move on to Mark Workman. I went in Wikipedia, put in Mark Workman. You know, the one I told you that was noted to be the worst number 1 draft pick of all time in terms of pure on-court production and impact. Well, his Wikipedia kind of read like, he came, he played, and he left. No mention of none of the things that could tarnish his name. That was odd, right? I wonder did Wikipedia forget to add that? I don't know. So I was like, okay, Wiki. You must have just forgot to add it to Mark, right? So let me go ahead to my boy Andy Tokovich, right? You know, the one who was noted to be a bust also and noted to say that he should have never been taken over Dolph Skayes. Him, that Andy. And you know what? To my surprise, I looked on there again and all I saw was he came, he played, and he went. No mention of anything that could tarnish the legacy of any one of these men. So I said, okay, well, maybe back then Wiki, because it was old school. Maybe back then Wiki wasn't into tarnishing people. This was early. It was like 1952. And then the other one was, you know what I'm saying? It was other. So maybe they didn't start tarnishing people until like the early 90s or 2000s or something. So I went on and I checked Anthony Bennett. And then I went on and I checked LaRue Martins, right? And when I looked up, those were there. Those were there. They were there. They were there. Okay. What I do is I thank Jesus that it ain't what folks call you is what you answer to, right? That's why I like Kwame, because he didn't lose faith. He knew he was placed here to be something far more greater in this world. Why? Because God said so. So you can look at this two different ways, right? You could walk around believing that the NBA was Kwame Brown's greatest accomplishment, and there is no more that he could do in this world, right? Or you could recognize that he was possibly placed in that position for that duration of time to gain the wealth that he needed so he can utilize it as a tool to help promote growth and empowerment in this world in more ways than one, right? You can look at it that way. Because God will utilize certain people to show you how their greatest challenges can become your greatest accomplishments, right? That's who I believe Kwame Brown is. And when you that way, people gon' dislike you. You gon' get the jealousy. You for damn sure gon' get the envy, right? And it's because they already see what's to come. It's because they know. It's because they know. Do you hear me? But what they don't know is they can't stop God's anointing, because what he said will be done, and it is so, right? So when people try to slander you and they try to cause bitterness and chaos inside your atmosphere, when all you doing is minding your own damn business, don't you fret, baby. No, 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 no. Don't you get weary. And don't you get to asking yourself no why or whys, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why, okay? It's because they know, okay? That's it. That's all. So when Kwame Brown came back on the scene and began to speak up for himself, I felt like it was long overdue. He said what he had to say to the people who had something to say about him. Certain people who had something to say about that man stood shoulder to shoulder with this man in the league, okay? Since then, I think Steven Jackson, he came back and he apologized. Respect to you. But then you have others, such as Charlemagne, no damn God, okay? Who chose to distastefully speak on this man's father, right? In the most derogatory way, and then was forced to apologize. He ain't mean it. He was forced to say it. But the thing is that, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to put it out there. I ran across an article that stated something else about Kwame's father. Okay, a part that Charlemagne could have went that route to say if he got anything to take up after of a man, he could take this part after a man, okay? I ran across an article and said that Kwame Brown's father was a part of a civil rights movement that took place in the 1950s and 60s, which was led by no other than Martin Luther King Jr., right? Now, he could have said that, because I for damn sure see that up in Mr. Kwame Brown. Okay? Kwame Brown was a 19-year-old kid, fresh in the league, father incarcerated, probably the breadwinner amongst his 8 siblings, okay? In 2009, while the man was in the league, God rest her soul, his mother passed away, okay? Not to mention the pressure of the game, okay, and anything else personally that this man could have possibly had going on. Do you know how much your mental stability can hinder the things in your life, especially if you don't have the resources or the capability to get through them? That shit takes strength. It takes courage, and everybody don't do it. Yes, God will help you, but you have to be willing to put in the work. And Kwame did that. He wouldn't stop despite the challenges that constantly tried to keep that man down, as well as they do today. Now, this pushes me to the confrontation between him and Hassan Campbell. And I'm going to make this brief. I believe that when Hassan noticed the waves that Kwame was making, he began to panic. As most folks would when they not secure in their own calling. All right? I feel like Kwame Brown was rising in subs, and Hassan thought, oh my God, this man may surpass me. Focusing on his lane instead of his own lane. And instead of Hassan approaching Kwame as a fellow YouTuber, to say the least, he began to make a series of YouTube diss tracks, if you will. That went on for a while, and after a while, Kwame got wind of the situation, and he invited him to one of his lives to have a conversation with Hassan Campbell, which he accepted. I'm sure all of you by now know how that went. Hassan offered Kwame a fake apology, and the type of apologies when a person knows that they done fucked up and they don't want you to question them and go down of what they did. They just want you to take their apology and that's it, and don't ask me nothing, and we just gonna sweep that up under the rug. And if you try to ask them a question and want a genuine answer, then you're met with anger. Hence, the apology is bullshit. Hence, it will happen again. That's just what happened. Kwame didn't accept Hassan's apology, and Hassan got upset, and he went right back to his show, not even 20 minutes after he got off Kwame's show, and started bashing the man again. And since then, it's been recruited individuals that has jumped on the bandwagon as well as his subscribers, okay? It's that way. But like I said, people see how great this man will be. An apology is not given based on how the receiving person will react. If you really felt as if you did something wrong, then you should be capable of answering any questions for clarity that the other person may need or have. Mistakes equals lessons, and lessons equals growth. That's the cycle of life. Otherwise, you are perpetuating a continuous cycle of the same bullshit, expecting a different result, and that's the definition of an insane ass individual. To me, the actions that Hassan is showing to his subscribers will keep them stagnated and hinder their growth. He teaches them the art of shifting blame onto others when things does not go his way. In translation, to me, that just means divide, divide, divide when we are trying to unify, unify, unify. Instead of Hassan going against Kwame, he could have asked him for tips on how to overcome challenges in a healthy manner. And lastly, I still feel like Hassan Campbell should #log off and heal so he can focus on himself before he is capable to lead others. So, that's it for now. It is more to come. Please stay tuned. Put your comments in the section. In the comment section, people who want to cuss me out, you're wasting your time. I think you're funny, but I love you looking here. Maybe you can learn some at the same time you're cursing me out. Okay? Like, subscribe, share. Love you lots. Peace.